Welcome to She's in the Weeds.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Hollis.
We're best friends exploring the intersection of pop culture and the female experience.
Be sure to follow us on socials and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode.
And if you love us, give us that 5-star review.
Nailed it.
I think it's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
We're here.
We are here.
We have a Pop Culture Archives episode today. We are doing the movie Havoc, and I think we're just going to get into it because I feel like it's probably going to be a long one.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
So I had never seen Havoc. Actually, when, spoiler alert, the gang rape scene happened, I was like, maybe I have seen this because this seemed kind of familiar to me, actually. And like the fallout from that.
Yeah.
So maybe I just didn't remember like all the lead up to.
Well, because I think you fell asleep in your robe.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe you woke up
Yeah.
at the end. Okay, so our Pop Culture Archives topic this episode is a film called Havoc. It is a 2005 film directed by Barbara Kopel and the screenplay by Stephen Goggin. Maybe Goggin. Sure.
Gagon?
Gagong. So I'm going to give you a little synopsis, and then I want to hear your initial reactions.
Sure.
Okay. So it follows the lives of wealthy white Los Angeles teenagers from the Pacific Palisades. Allie, Emily, Toby, and Sam are kind of the main characters. And their exposure to hip-hop culture inspires them to imitate the gangster lifestyle, forming their own gang they call the PLC. One night, they head to East LA and they run into trouble when they encounter a gang of drug dealers known as the 16th Street Gang, which is a real gang. We will talk about the portrayal of it later, but they used inspiration from a real gang. And discover that they are not as streetwise as they had thought. And the story unfolds from there. Chaos ensues. All the while, another student at their high school is filming their lives for a documentary. And so that's kind of an important element to the movie. He pops up filming interviews with the main character from time to time. Let me go over the cast real quick and then I'll get your initial reactions. So the main character, Allie, is played by Anne Hathaway. I think we all know who she is. Bijou Phillips plays Allie's best friend, Emily. We probably all know her as well. Her most notable role, I would say, is Almost Famous. She was also famously married to Danny Masterson, who she separated from following his conviction.
Oh, I didn't know she was married to him.
Yes.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Thanks, Spikes.
And she was, quote unquote, supportive, like kind of leading up to everything. And then she filed. I don't know if they were able to get like legally divorced because, you know, he went to prison, but she did end up separating and possibly filing from divorce. I think after he was convicted.
Can you not divorce somebody when they're in prison?
Well, I think it's just like he does have to sign the
harder,
papers.
yeah.
So it may just be a whole
More
thing. That,
complicated,
Mike Vogel plays Allison's boyfriend, Toby, who's kind of like the leader of the PLC gang. He's been in a lot of stuff, but I don't really recognize him from too much. He was in a show called Bates Motel that I love. And he's been in some other movies. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Sam, another gang member. He is on one in this one.
Oh, yeah. He really phoned it in.
Yes. We all know him, of course, from Third Rock from the Sun, Brick, Angels in the Outfield, 10 Things I Hate About You, Inception. He's been in a lot of stuff. Channing Tatum is sort of in it. He plays Nick, another gang member. He's got like 2 or 3 scenes.
He pretty much plays himself.
Yes, pretty much plays himself. Shiri Appleby plays Amanda, one of the girlfriends. She's in a few scenes. She was the girlfriend in Swim Fan.
Yeah, she's in Roswell. I love that show.
Yeah,
Back in the WB days.
I was never really that into WB shows.
No, they were all mostly bad.
Yeah. Freddie Rodriguez plays Hector, who is the main figure from the 16th Street Gang. He was in 6 Feet Under, Ugly Betty, and then he did voice work for Saints Row, which was like a huge video game. And then Raymond Cruz plays Chino, Hector's brother, who also is in the gang, probably most recognizable as playing Tuco in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and Better Call Saul. He's
Yeah. It also was released straight to DVD.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. It's unfortunate though, because the premise is interesting.
Yeah.
Like it could have been a really cool movie. It was just executed poorly.
Yes.
And like, I think clearly the white Palisades rich kids, they're overplaying it purposely, I think, to make a point.
Yes.
Like,
the cultural appropriation in the movie is intentional.
Yes. And it's very heightened.
Yes.
But in a clown way that isn't like believable, or
right.
it just comes off as bad. They like overshot it so far that they like missed the whole point they were trying to make, because it's just so ridiculous.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Wow. I mean, because even white kids who do that in real life don't do it
like that.
It's like a caricature.
Now, I don't have a lot of experience with rich white kids from the Palisades.
Sure.
So there could also be like a regional thing going on there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then, I mean, the list goes on about like you were saying, the portrayal of an actual East LA gang was also incredibly stereotypical.
Yes.
And then very problematic handling of obviously the rape scene and what the takeaways were from that, which is very strange.
Yeah, I'm interested to get your take on that towards the end.
And then my other biggest disappointment was the documentary kid.
Yes.
That was the most interesting plot point of the movie, and they did nothing with it.
And it went nowhere.
Yeah, I was
know.
like, what?
No, I know.
But Anne Hathaway, I thought, was pretty good in it.
Yes.
You could tell that she was like, oh yeah, she's going to be a very serious actress.
And that's been one of, it's obviously faced a lot of criticism, but it's also gotten some accolades, and her performance is one of them. Yeah. Like, people saw her in that and were like, wow. Like, her performance was praised by a lot of people. Okay, so interesting facts. The original script was written in 1993 by Jessica Kaplan, who was 14 years old at the time.
Oh, wow.
And it was based on her own observations of her affluent white classmates in West Los Angeles. So very interesting. She sold it to New Line Cinema 2 years later, and then they adapted it into the screenplay that made it to production. And Jessica actually died in a plane crash in 2003 at age 24.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Plane crash.
I know. So, and she was like really an aspiring artist with writing, and was doing kind of all this immersive work, and was like traveling around the world, and like, so sad.
Yeah.
But very interesting that she was 14 years old when she wrote it.
Those are some pretty big themes for a 14-year-old to conceptualize.
I guess the first sort of adaptation of the script after it got sold was originally titled The Powers That Be, and the script was a drama about Beverly Hills high school students who try to get involved with the South Central Los Angeles gangster rap music scene, and a young male teacher who helps the main character deal with a tragedy as a result of said escapades. So that was like the first adaptation before it became what actually got made. And I'm curious, like, if that is what she witnessed. I'd be really curious to know, like, what was in her original script and like how far they got from that. Yeah. Because that's not really what happens in the movie from this first adaptation. So anyway, but yeah, definitely, regardless, sounds like some heavy themes for a 14-year-old girl to be writing about.
For sure, yeah. I definitely wasn't thinking about appropriation when I was 14.
No, me neither. Okay, so when the script was sold in 1995, actors such as Alicia Silverstone, Ethan Hawke, and Christian Slater were considered for roles. Mandy Moore was originally cast as Allison, but dropped out and was replaced by Anne Hathaway shortly before filming began. Moore reportedly left the project because she felt uncomfortable with the film's subject matter. And then Jenna Malone, who was in Stepmom, was originally set to play Emily, but left the project shortly after Moore. Then I found this to be interesting. So Barbara Kopel is known for directing documentaries. And so that's sort of why she added this little documentary flair into the film. And you know, the film went straight to DVD. It did not do well. Now, there was some concern from the distributor, whoever it was, I'm not sure, about the themes in the movie and kind of some of the stuff. They weren't quite sure, like, do we even want to release this? And I guess they ended up taking Final Cut away from Barbara Kopel. And so Anne Hathaway and Bijou Phillips refused to promote the film when that happened.
Oh, nice.
Kind of like in protest and like standing up for Barbara. And so I'm curious, like, how much of that also had to do with the straight to DVD release. It was co-produced by an American studio, I guess, and then a German studio, and it did get a theatrical release overseas. So I'm just curious. I wonder how much of that had to do with it.
Yeah, that sounds like some bureaucracy stuff. Like, we're just gonna tank your movie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So
it's too bad.
I'm sure it was a combination of like them maybe being like, is this really guys, can we put this out here? So yeah, who knows? Okay, so the themes we will be exploring in this film are themes of rich white American teen culture, specifically California, cultural appropriation, family dynamics, female friendship, racial dynamics including racial bias and stereotypes, sexual assault, and the conversation around consent. So there is going to be mention of sexual assault. Trigger warning, if that's not for you, I would skip this one. And I think it's important to note that this film came out in 2005, so well before the Me Too movement and George Floyd. I think both of those things are important to note. This was before that.
I was trying to think. 2005 was the conversation of like white appropriation even in the air at the time, and it really wasn't.
I don't think it was really. No. Okay. Yeah. So there's lots of layers here. Lots and lots of layers. It's a big old fat onion. Havoc. A stinky one too, because it's but this
I know, because it starts out with like the obvious theme of the movie, and then it very much takes a hard left.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just leave that first theme in the past, and like that's not resolved.
No, I know.
And they have this new huge thing that they also botch.
Yes.
And don't resolve.
No,
either.
I know. Yeah, it's like it's trying so hard to send profound messages.
Yeah.
And it's missing the mark a lot. And yeah, it's definitely was one of those like guilty pleasure movies for me. I was like, I know this movie is bad.
Yeah, but I love it. Trust, I have plenty of those movies. Yeah.
Okay. So the movie starts out with the PLC like in a parking lot about to fight this other rich white kid gang.
Yeah.
It's like two rich white kid gangs. And the opening scene is Eric, the documentary guy, again, which doesn't really go anywhere and never really gets resolved.
There's never ever really any introduction.
No, you don't
either.
know why he's doing it. You don't know. I think you assume maybe he says that he goes to school with them. Like goes to their high school, but you don't know why he's making the documentary. You don't know like
him and Anne Hathaway clearly have some sort of relationship, but you don't. It's ambiguous what exactly it is, what their history is.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, you don't know anything. The opening scene is him shooting her, saying some stuff, and
it's very Grease. The setting almost looks like the Grease car race scene.
Yes, they're all in a parking lot, like hanging around their cars, and she says, she's talking about rich kids in the Palisades and how it's set up to be there's inside and there's out, and we live these sheltered lives. She's like, so we dress gangsta, we talk shit. So what? It's our thing. And it's like, it's actually not your thing. It's entirely appropriated and not for any good reason.
Yeah.
You know? So Eric asking, like, how long have you identified with gangster culture? And this is to Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the guys. And the white guys say, oh, fucking rich white culture. That shit's fucking whack. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performance is like so insane, but also like low key kind of good because it's so exaggerated and like unhinged.
And it's funny. Like his are, I mean, but like right out the gate, you're just cringing.
Yeah,
so
you're
hard.
like, oh my God.
And you haven't figured it out either, but like it's intentional a
right.
little bit. You're just like, what's going on?
Yes,
it's
jarring.
Yeah.
It's very jarring. Yes. And so he's talking about how all the good shit came from black people. And I feel like this is something that we know, and it's a criticism now of cultural appropriation where it's like, yeah, a lot of good shit did come from Black people and you're not giving the proper credit. Like you just trying to rip it off is not any kind of celebration or admiration of that culture that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we talk about this a lot. Where's the line between appreciation and appropriation? It is hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gray area, but this is appropriation. 100%.
Clearly,
yeah. I think it's also important just to make a note here too of why this particular like almost like simulation of a gang is a little bit more serious in terms of the type of appropriation. When you're talking about these like rich, privileged white kids from California who have all of this unearned privilege and have almost no barriers in life to their success, to their quality of life. And when you're talking about gangs, a lot of these people, this is all they've ever known. They haven't been given opportunities. There's so much systemic oppression and things going on. It's almost like, well, it's not almost like, it is the oppressors cosplaying as the oppressed.
Yes, that's very astute observation. Because I think that's common with privilege, where it's like, you want to reap the privilege, but you don't want to appear privileged.
And you don't want to, a lot of people don't want to admit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I feel like the simulation of the gang, there's more depth there in terms of the harm and just the misunderstanding of what this life is like for a lot of these people.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than just wearing the clothes or using the slang, things like that. So
yeah, and I feel like that's what they were getting at, like that last conversation Hector and Anne Hathaway had, where she was like, you don't know me, you don't know my life, and he was like, please.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Like, not that like your life can't be hard in any capacity,
right?
But, like, you can't compare the two, which is almost what she was doing.
Right.
Like, we're equals, we each have hard lives.
Yes.
I was like, well, it's not the same type of struggles.
Exactly. And he says that line, which we'll go through the whole dialogue towards the end, but that line where he says, you're not even getting it from the real thing. You're getting it from what you see on TV.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. Then they fight the other rich white kid gang. And you get the idea very early on, even I feel like in this scene, that Allie and Emily are best friends, but that there's something else maybe going on there. They're very close. And they're in the fight, and Emily's like yelling for help from Allie. Like she's kind of getting beat up a little bit, and she's like, Allie, like yelling for help, and Allie immediately like runs to her rescue. And it just sort of sets the scene for this like relationship between the two of them that might be a little something more going on.
Yeah, they're like, they allude to it at certain times, but then again, never really any like...
There's no resolution there really either. So then they're at a party, and they walk into the party, her and Emily holding hands. So again, you're kind of like, okay, what's going on here? Not that, but like,
hands, but
you and I aren't walking around holding hands.
Right.
At one point, Allie kisses Toby, and Emily looks at them both very longingly, and then kind of makes this like disappointed face, and you get a sense that like she might be feeling a little jealousy there, or there's something going on. And then Toby trying to rap at the pool party is so cringe. God.
Well, I'm sure we bring this up. Her call and response to that is the cringiest part in maybe the entire movie.
Yeah. So she sees him trying to like freestyle and just completely like flailing, and she's like, I have to stop this immediately. So then she comes in and starts singing this song to him, and it is, you guys.
Everybody knows the song. It was a popular song at the time. I'm surprised this hasn't come back to haunt her. It did. It has made the circulation on the internet as like a meme, but I'm surprised it hasn't come back to bite her in the ass in a more significant way, because she does say the N-word.
I know. That's the other thing. I know. It's so bad.
She's dancing, and it also just makes no sense. I've never seen anybody do that at a party ever.
No.
Just like silent, and everyone's listening to her sing and grind on her. It's just so bizarre.
So bad. Yeah. And then the way Emily like sings the little last part with her.
Yeah.
It's so cringe.
bad.
Yeah, and then I have here that she actually says the N-word, which is wild.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised that has not, like, she's probably because she was young, and, like, if they tried to do that to her now, she would absolutely just be like, no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm sure at that time, it's like, you just do what you're told.
Yeah, again, like, I don't think we were really having those conversations then. And, like, it is kind of wild around that, you would think, but.
I feel like that was
You would think.
White people have known not to say that word for a long time.
I know. And was there something about, like, thinking it was okay with the A?
I guess, or like in a song.
Yeah.
It's a lyric that like you can get away with it, but it's like, no.
Not exactly. Okay. So then Allie and Toby leave the party and hook up in his car. And you can tell that she just like totally checks out.
Yeah.
Like she's not into it at all. And you're kind of left wondering if there's something going on with her and Emily or if she's just like not really into Toby. But you can tell like she's just like whatever. That it's performative and she's just doing it because.
Yeah, she really was. There was a moment where she's just like, click.
Yes.
Okay, I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
Which I think, is pretty true to life for a lot of women.
Yeah. Especially
at that age.
Yeah. And she talks about it a little bit in a interview with Eric later in the movie, so we'll kind of cover it again. But yeah, that's your first glimpse into like their relationship of like, this is pretty performative, at least on her end.
Yeah. And you know what is interesting to me about this movie too is that like they're portraying teenagers.
Yes.
There is nudity.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You see her breasts multiple times.
Yes.
I know she's not actually 16 or 17, but like she's playing a girl who is.
Right.
Like I'm surprised they got away with that.
Yeah.
Too.
That's another underlying theme of this movie that we didn't mention when I talked about the themes. But through all of this, there's going to be some romantic and sexual interaction between her and one of the gang members. And yes, as far as we know, she's 16, 17.
Yeah.
And we don't know how old the gang members are, but they're not high school age.
Absolutely not.
So that's another theme of like these girls are underage,
right?
And the men are not.
Exactly.
Yes.
So like whether it's absolutely rape because she's 16 years old, most likely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So while her and Toby are gone, Eric is asking Emily about Allie's home life, and so you get some information about how her mom was an addict of some kind, pills, maybe alcohol. They don't go too much into it, but that Allie's kind of dealt with a lot in her life of her mom being an addict. And then later on, you get some information that her dad works a lot and she kind of has these, not this most stable, present parents.
Yeah.
Right? So there's sort of this latchkey kid theme going on. So after the party, they sleep at Emily's house, and Allie crawls into bed with Emily and, like, snuggles up with her. They're, like, spooning and holding hands and tell each other they love each other. Again, all friendships are different, but, like, you and I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
You know? And it is interesting because I do feel like female friendship is sometimes portrayed that way, like Hannah and Marnie do that in Girls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I were never like that, but,
no.
I mean...
This had a much more romantic, sexualized... tint to it and just like
definitely
oh, we're girlfriends and we sleep in the same bed.
Yeah I mean, we've slept in the same bed plenty of times, but
we weren't spooning.
No, we weren't cuddling. We're not cuddlers. Okay, so then they wake up at Emily's house and there's this scene that like establishes that they're these rich white kids. They show Emily's big rich house and they're at the breakfast table with their crystal orange juice pitcher and like whatever.
The perfect
rich family. Allie goes home to her house and it's completely empty. And I think we're supposed to assume this is like a Saturday, a weekend. So she goes home to her house. Nobody's there. Yeah. And you can kind of tell she sits down on the counter and she gets this very like disappointed, lonely, like here I am again in this big empty house.
I know it was funny because it was like, all right, let's portray loneliness.
Yes.
She's just on the counter. Like, head completely down. It's like, okay.
No posture. Like completely.
Be a caricature of lonely. Nailed it.
Pop a thing. She pops the thing in her mouth and catches it, which don't do that, by the way. You're going to choke and you're in the house by yourself. No, yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Oh, dear. So then the next scene is the cruising scene, I call it. And it's the four main characters of the PLC. So Toby and Allie and Emily and Sam. And they're in Toby's car. He's driving. And, you know, they're joking about, guess we're just driving around again. Like, they're not a real gang. Like, they're just posing as a gang. So they just, like, go drive around. And so he starts to drive towards East LA, which is, like, where the real gangs are. And you can tell, like, at first, the girls are kind of like, what? Emily's like, wait, what? We're really going there? We're really going there? And then they get all cringy excited about it. And they start yelling East. It's another super cringy moment where they're just like, East! Yeah, East! And it's so bad. So they go down there and they pull up on the side of the street where they see a bunch of Mexican men standing. Okay, and this is where it's like starts to get really like the real sin here is the very stereotypical portrayal of 16th Street.
Yeah, which is supposed to be
real.
Yeah, I know.
So
again, they've lost the plot.
Yes, they lost the plot. So they pull up and they just stop the car, and there's, you know, these Mexican guys standing there, and they see them stop.
And there's just like some fence behind them. You're like, oh, they're in the ghetto. Because there's like some fence
and like one of those parking cinder blocks, you know, like that they
like,
use in parking lots.
This is a rough area.
Yeah. So they pull up, they stop the car, and they just sit there waiting for them to come over. So they do. They're like, what do you want? And so they walk over. They do a drug deal. The guys start to walk away. The 16th Street guys start to walk away. And Toby's like, oh, this shit's light. You know, this bag's light. So he gets out of the car and he starts to follow Hector. It's Hector and Chino, his brother. Those are the two main characters of the gang. I don't know if we even learned the other guys' names.
I don't think so.
And Hector turns around, and you can see the second, like, he turns around, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing, kid, following me like this? And he's like, hey, man, this bag's light. Just give me my money back. I'll give you your bag back. This goes horribly for Toby. Mm-hmm. Hector pulls a gun on him, and Allie jumps out of the car and starts to run over, and he like looks at her and she stops, and you can immediately see something happening between the two of them, Hector and Allie. There's a spark or some kind of tension, and then you can tell like Hector is going to emasculate this guy and just like make him like
make a point with him.
So he pulls a gun on him, and I can't remember exactly what he says to him, but he ends up peeing his pants. Toby does. And then Hector says something along the lines to Allie of, oh, you fuck him? Does he piss himself like this when he's with you? Mm-hmm. And like makes this whole like, is this a real man? Like, who's a real man?
Really establishes his dominance.
Yes. It's a very, what I would say, probably stereotypical display of that machismo, like Mexican alpha male.
Yeah.
So that scene ends, and then he lets him go. They go back to the car. They leave. So then the next day they're back at school, and the boys are like bragging about it.
Yeah.
And then Allie walks up, and she's like kind of trying to console him, and he's all, no one does that to me, you know. And then the guys kind of walk away, and it's just him and Allie, and he's like, I'm gonna find that punk. And she's like, Toby, you can talk to me. Like, are you okay?
She also like is not talking like a gangster anymore.
No,
because like throughout the whole movie, they each have. Allie has two voices.
Yes,
Allie has her real voice, and then the like, oh yeah, baby girl.
They all,
and like you hear her normal voice, but like up until this point, Toby's only just the like.
Yeah, so far we've only heard his gangster voice. Yeah. And so she's like, you can talk to me. Like, she's trying to, like, be real with him. Like, you can talk to me. Like, I know that was scary kind of thing. And you can see his whole demeanor change, his face change. And he says to her, what do you want me to say, Allie? And that's the first time you hear his real voice. Yeah. And I said he changes to full white guy.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, and it's like, okay, they do know this is all an act.
Yeah.
Because there is a little bit of part where it's like, you almost don't know if like they've completely bought in,
right?
Or if they are like, is this something they do for fun at school, or is this
Yeah.
something they're doing all the time? Like,
Yeah.
obviously they were doing it in the car and stuff too, but it's like, how into
commi-
the bit are they?
How
really?
committed are they? Yeah. And then he puts it back on the second the girls walk over and says something like, "Oh, Cholo rolled up on me," or something, you know? And that's where you get the first glimpse of like the whole gangsta thing is a shtick.
Yeah.
And they know that.
It's also important to note, I'd like to shout out the wardrobes too. The wardrobes for some, because I mean, it is like stereotype to a T played up. Like he's got
especially the guys.
Yes, especially
Yes.
the guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the chains, the visor.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Woo. Okay, so then the next scene is it's girls' night because they're like over the guys. They're like, let's go out with the girls, and so it's Allie and Emily, and then two other girls that they're friends with that are really maybe only like in this scene. Sherry Appleby plays Amanda, and then Sasha, and I didn't put who plays her. So they're out, and Allie's trying to get coke from a guy. They're like out at some bar, and this is the thing too that's like so like California LA of it, because they're in high school, but they're like out at some fancy cocktail bar, and they're dressed like 25-year-olds, and Allie's up at the bar. I mean, this looks like a nice swanky like hotel bar or something, and she's talking to some old white guy, and they're all sitting there like, oh, look, she's gonna get it, and she gets coke from him, and then they all go to the bathroom and they're doing coke in the bathroom at this place. And it's like, this is where I wonder too, like, how much of this is just, okay, we need to do this for the story, we know high school girls don't do this stuff, but like it's just part of the story, or is that like a regional, I mean, I've heard that about New York teen culture, but like maybe LA probably is that way too.
Yeah, it's like Euphoria. I'm like, is this really what fucking kids are doing in high school? Like, this is insane.
Yeah. So there's that scene, and then they're like, okay, what are we gonna do now? And then Allie's like, oh, let's go back downtown. Let's go back down there. And Emily's like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, oh, didn't it make your stomach feel good? Like, it was so exciting. Like, let's go back down there. And Amanda's character says, there is a monetary zone of geography which we are not allowed to pass.
That was a good line.
Yeah. And Allie says, there's a whole different world down there. And
she's
so
definitely like the instigator of all the things.
Yes, absolutely. She's the instigator. And so they go down there, and somehow, and this is the other thing too, like, I don't know if this is a stereotype or if they just did this because they needed to do it for the movie, but like they're just always in the same spot.
Yeah.
Like they just find them.
We just stand here by this fence.
We just hang out by the fence and the cinder blocks.
This is our spot.
So they pull up, and she immediately jumps out of the car. Allie does, just like so giddy when they first see him.
The minute she sees Hector, it's
yes.
like, oh, this is actually attractive to me.
Yeah, for sure. So at first there's like a little bit of like, oh God, is something gonna like go wrong? But then he's like, do you guys want to come to a party? So he invites him to this party, which again, like, so unrealistic. Yeah. I just like no real like Latin gang is just gonna, well, who knows? I don't know. Gonna invite these like rich 16-year-old. No, I just feel like they'd be like, get out of here.
Well, and I mean, obviously this is only a 90-minute movie, so like there can only be so many instances, but like they at least would have taken a couple times.
You would think,
but you know, not immediately just like, okay, yeah, come to the party.
Yeah,
you know, like,
well, and there is kind of a funny scene where she gets out of the car and he's like, what are you doing down here?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. And then him and the brother like kind of talk, and then the brother goes, boo.
Yeah.
And they all go, ah!
Yeah.
So like
they are kind of making it like, we get it.
Yeah. So they go to this party, and they walk in, and there's all of the girls and women that are at the party are like, what is going on? And they're walking into the party with the guys, and this is one. They end up splitting off. Allie and Emily go off together, and Amanda and Sasha go off together to like take tequila shots. And they're like, oh, you have to go together, like stay together or whatever. And they walk up to like start taking tequila shots with one of the gang members, I guess, or someone at the party. And the guy that's standing next to him looks at Amanda and goes, want to smoke crack? And she just goes, nope.
No,
It's just like, Okay, like
That's how
let's
we're-
get that stereotype out of the
Yeah.
way. Like, want to smoke crack? Oh my gosh. So Emily and Allie are there, and Emily's like fishing for compliments from Allie. They're like sitting on this stoop, and it's like it's another one of these moments where you're like, what's going on here? Because she's like, Emily, you look hot, and she's like, not as hot as you. And then she's like, look at that guy, he'd fuck you in a second if he could. And like it's just it's just such a weird dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah,
like,
and I thought it was weird too how like Allie is just, even though she's the same age as these girls, she's almost seen as like the
mother.
madam kind of.
Yeah,
yes.
yes.
Like the house madam who's like, I'm in charge,
Yes.
I'm wise, I somehow have like more experience than you
I'm
guys.
better at culturally appropriating than you.
Yeah. And like what, because you grew up faster because your parents aren't at home all the time?
Yeah, it's a little unclear, that dynamic.
Yeah, but yeah,
But it's there.
she definitely is like, she talks kind of like, you all need to know what I have to say. Kind of like, little girl, don't worry, stick with me and I'll show you the ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you really get that at the party because they're sitting there talking on the stoop, and it's, again, this like almost sexual tension between the two of them. And then Emily goes to talk to a guy that she thinks is cute, and Allie's like holding court on the stoop, and someone comes over and she goes, oh, hey, you guys like hip hop? Like, she's the authority on hip hop. It's so bad, you guys. So bad. So there needed that scene, needed her to say, oh, you guys into hip hop? So then Emily starts calling this guy Essay.
Yeah.
And Allie hears her, and he
like,
kind
"Hey,
of
don't
like,
talk like
hey,
that,"
like,
yeah.
what are you doing? Don't talk like that. And she's like, oh, what's wrong,
Essay,
Essay?
that's my homegirl.
Yeah. And it's like Allie clocks this is like, oh, I know we're all culturally appropriating, but like, Emily, you're doing a bad job of it, and you can't be doing it. We're appropriating Black culture here, not
Right.
Latino
Yeah,
culture
exactly.
in front
Let's
of the
get it
Latinos.
straight.
Please stop. So she goes and collects her, and they're like, okay, it's time to leave the
Again,
party.
very much just like, I'm the wise, mature one.
Yes.
With this like different sense of confidence. You were just little girls. You don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
It's-
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so then I just always thought this was a funny line. When they're all driving back and they've all made it, they didn't get murdered, they didn't get raped yet. They're all in the car driving back. And Amanda, Shiri Appleby's character, says, that was so much better than just giving some rapper a blowjob at Jerry's Deli. First of all,
I was like, wait, what?
who's giving BJ's at a deli?
Right.
What are you talking about?
And what rappers?
No.
What rappers do you know?
So apparently that's their
That's
usual
their
Saturday.
usual?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh God. It also like, why would that? You're not setting the bar very high.
No.
If giving a rapper a blowjob in a deli is your best thing, then I mean, yeah, there's
So
lots
much
of
better
upward
than that.
potential. Yeah, I mean, what? So anyway, that was always kind of a funny line to me.
And that she was the like very apprehensive one.
Yes, because when they first start to go down there, she's like, they're in the back
Let's
seat, her and
go,
Sasha,
yeah.
and she's like, you got to say something. She's like, say something
Yeah.
to the Sasha, trying to get them to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently
she had a great
changed her
time.
mind. She was taking tequila shots. So she ripped some
She had a
tequila
good
shots.
time.
Then she was like,
And then she ended up dancing with the guy who asked her to smoke crack.
yes, that's right.
So she had fun. She didn't smoke crack, but she had
good
fun.
for her. Stick to your guns.
Okay. So then the next scene is at Allie's house with her and Eric's interviewing her. And this is a loaded scene. Okay? He asks if she's in the gang because of her latchkey parents, and she says, oh, poor little rich girl needs the gang as mi familia. Funny. And he says, you don't have to get angry. I'm just interviewing you. And she says, I'm not getting angry.
Yeah,
And she says it all like, yeah.
I really hated this scene.
Then she starts this whole seduction show. And she asks if it's possible if this is really just about you being attracted to me, but you don't know if I feel the same way, so you're playing hard to get in your guy way. And she's like, it's so dishonest. And she's like doing the whole, she's
thing,
starting,
yeah.
and she's starting to slowly undress and like lay down on the couch and be all like
Sexy.
sexual. And then he says, you know, when you get serious, you stop talking all street and dope and shit. And she says, I can be a lot of people. I can be like you. And then she does an impression of him. And then he says, Allison, do you want to be a different person? And she says, do you want to make love to me? And she like really leans into the seduction. And he says, do you ever take anything seriously? And she says, how do you know I'm not taking this seriously? Like very breathy and grossly. And then he says, this is a fucked up power game. And then he asks her to cover up. And then she immediately changes and gets like back to like, oh, like, I'm cool. I'm not like, that didn't bother me. And she says, that's great footage. Should really get the math team going. And like leans into the comedy of it. And like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, but you can tell she is.
Yeah.
And then he says, as he's like leaving, you're one of the loneliest people I've ever met.
Yeah. And that really gets her. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh man, I am lonely. Realization time.
Yeah. So then, of course, she needs some validation now. She's had a bad experience with Eric. She's feeling
Lost.
and likely undesired, where she thought she could garner his attention. She was really leaning into the seduction and like male gaze of it all. And like, I can take the power in this situation because he's definitely going to be interested. Like,
Yeah.
I think she really saw that going a different way. So now she needs some validation, so she goes looking for Hector. She's dressed a little different.
Oh, is this the hat?
Yes, like a leather beret on. Like,
So weird.
so it's obviously her interpretation of trying to dress like a girl would dress in the barrio.
Yeah.
Okay? And
Full on costume.
yes. So and this is another thing where it's like, this seems to be in a different part. It's still like East LA, but it's not where they found him before. So again, it's like, it's like she's like going to the market and like these stores. Like, I don't know how she knows where he is. She just is able to find him every time. So she's like walking around pretending to like shop in the market and the stores. She spots him and then she does the whole like, oh, let me just walk out in front of him. And
Hector, what are you doing here?
yeah. So when he sees her, he says, what you doing around here looking all homegirl and shit? Here I am trying to look like I got the money, and here you are trying to look like me. Fucking white people. So then they start walking together. Like, they just see each other. They start walking together, and they just start talking about how the dealing of the drugs works. Like, there's no, like, she's just like, wouldn't you make more money somewhere else? And he's like, this is my home. The money comes to me. And she's like, you make it sound too easy. Like, for some reason, they just start talking about the drug dealing as if that's what she's there to find out about it. And he just knew that. And, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a lot of context. Like, how did we get here? But okay.
I feel like there's also kind of like he's a gang member with a heart of gold type of thing, where it's like, he's like, my family lives here. And like,
Yes.
where you're like trying to give some depth to the character. Like, yeah, he's an East LA gang member, but like, he's not a bad guy.
Right. Yeah. And whereas like when you're talking about this particular culture and actual gang members, like, and it did name some movies when I was doing research that actually do a good portrayal. Like, yeah, you do want to give the characters some depth. These are real people. They have real relationships. This is all they know, some of them. And so, like, yeah, it's okay to, like, give humanity to the person, but, like, they just are not doing a good job of it. Like, it's not.
I know. That's kind of that's the real theme of the movie. It's like, kind of like Amanda on Beverly Hills. Almost gets it right, but just misses the mark.
Just misses the mark. Oh, dear. Okay. They keep walking to like the part where there's houses and apartments and stuff. And he's like, oh, some of my tias live there. My primos live here. He's talking about, this is my neighborhood. And then he's like, I want you to be my eyes with me and let me show you something. And it's all these cars pulling up to buy drugs. And he's like, everybody smokes rock. And like, it's, you know, because it's white people, it's Mexican people, it's rich people, it's poor people, it's all these people pulling up. And at this point, his brother has joined them. And he gets kind of pissed, you can tell, because he's like, God, what is this girl doing here again?
Yeah.
He kind of pulls Hector aside and says, she didn't fuck you last time. What makes you think she's going to fuck you this time? And he just kind of like shoos him away. Then they get busted. So as he's like showing her the cars that are pulling up to buy drugs, all of a sudden there's sirens and they're like, oh shit. So they're trying to run away and hide, and they get surrounded by cops. One guy gets arrested because he actually has crack or cocaine or whatever in his mouth. So they take him away. They don't take Hector, the brother, away because I don't think they had anything on him. And they pull her aside and they're like, hey, you got some ID. What are you doing down here? And she like starts to make up some story about getting lost in directions. So they're like, whatever, we're taking you to jail. So they take her to jail. She spends a little bit of time in the drunk tank, whatever. And parents come to get her. And then there's a whole conversation. I always laugh at this part where the dad's like, you got arrested with crack dealers.
I had it written down in mine too. I laughed out loud so hard. You're arrested with crackheads.
Yeah, with crackheads.
She's like, God, Dad.
I know. She's like, oh, you're really cramping my style right now.
Yeah, it's just crackheads. God,
oh my gosh.
Swear.
So they're like, okay, let's talk. And she's like, who can talk when you're never here? And the mom's just trying to make canned soup the whole time.
The mom character is so weird.
Yeah.
Also, Laura San Giacomo's like a pretty famous
actress.
actress.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
That time, and then she had like 4 weird lines in this movie. It was like the mom may have not even been may as well not have even been in the movie.
And I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
yeah, because
but it is just it's such an odd.
It is an odd, yeah, because she's been in a lot of she's Kit.
Pretty Woman, yeah,
Kit,
yeah,
yeah. What's her last name?
DeLuca.
Yeah. Okay, so. Yeah, she's trying to make soup the whole time. And the dad's like, what were you even doing down there? And she goes, I was sick of this phony life.
Yeah.
And the mom goes, okay, you two, enough. This whole thing will just go away. So it's a layered situation. There's a lot going on here. I think part of why she's doing what she's doing is, a rebellion against her life and the phoniness of it, but also against her parents and the fact that like her parents are never there, and they clearly, even when big stuff happens, they're just trying to brush it under the rug. And so part of some of the drive of her doing these things is probably to get her parents' attention.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So
like,
that's an underlying theme
place.
as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they're back at school, and her confrontation with Toby about going back down there is funny. And he says something like, how are you gonna rep it without the PLC?
The PLC is so losery.
And you can tell that this is where there's the fracture. This is the fracture between her and Toby. He's pissed that she went back down there, and she's like, whatever, fuck off, Toby. Like,
yeah, I found a real gangster.
That's right.
You're a poser.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like, that's also a thing where she's like, she's kind of proving to herself that like I could hang with like the real deal. You know?
Yes. I could make this real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then she has that interaction with Toby where you can see where that's like, okay, they're done probably. And then the next scene is Eric interviewing her, and she's talking about her relationship with Toby. And so I'm just going to read the dialogue. She says, you don't want to think, this is the thing too. She has this way of speaking that's like she's this intellectual, and like I feel like that kind of goes along with what you were saying earlier about her sort of like superior, like madam dynamic with the girls. And then there's just like this level of like superiority and intellect in the way that she speaks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, because you can tell she's actually a really smart,
thoughtful person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just.
But there's also
just
part of
wayward.
it that feels a little performative.
Yeah.
Too. So yeah. So anyway, just pointing that out. Okay. So she says, you don't want to think you're with someone just because everyone else thinks you should be. Because we're not assigned people like parking spaces. And you do love him. Yeah, I mean, God, you've known him forever. And he's great and fun and makes sense. So yeah, the whole thing seems predetermined. But you find yourself like giving him a BJ and it feels like a performance. Okay, it is a performance. But what I mean is that you can't like feel it. It doesn't even seem real. It seems like a dream and you're just sleepwalking through your life, you know? And then he says, what isn't a dream? And she says, I don't know. The other night I was with Emily and we were at this crazy party downtown. And she's like, we're at this crazy party downtown. And I don't know. I just love her, you know? It seemed real. So then, again, there's this nod to, like, what is going on here? Are they in love with each other?
Yeah, very confusing.
Yes, like, because up until this point, you've kind of gotten the idea that like Emily might be in love with her, but you haven't really gotten it back from Allison until she says
doesn't reciprocate.
not really. And then she says this and you're like, what is going on? Okay. So then the next scene is when they first went down there with the guys and they first interacted with the gang, she bought some crack.
So, that scene's funny.
Yeah. So
this was like the only realistic scene in the whole movie.
Right. I know. And like, yeah, exactly. Because they're like, you know, posing is like, you know, streetwise, like we do drugs and we party and all this stuff. And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, I totally forgot. I got this crack. She's like, you want to smoke it? And Emily's like, yeah. And they don't know how to do it. And she's like, oh, I called a hotline and asked what signs to look for if my mom was smoking crack. And they said little pieces of aluminum foil everywhere.
Somehow she figured out from that.
Yeah.
How to do it.
So they just like put it on the foil and they use the lighter to try and light it and it explodes and like gets all over him. And then they're having this conversation and Emily says, what if like all of these guys that we've been with and like slept with, and she's like, what if it turns out that like we were supposed to be together?
Yeah, I don't understand this storyline.
Yeah, I know. And so then Allie like flips her over on her back and like kind of straddles her. You can tell by Emily's face that she's hoping there's going to be some intimacy.
Yeah.
And then Allie says, I don't think I could go down on you. And then the tension fades. But you can tell Emily's disappointed.
Yeah.
And then that's really it. There's no further evolution of that relationship between the two of them.
And like it's never really clear what either of them wanted out of that.
Right.
Or hoped it would be.
Yeah, no. Okay. So then her and Emily go downtown together, just the two of them. Again, they just like roll up to one of their family members' houses. Hector and,
like,
and Chino's. I don't know.
Yeah, they're having like a
baptism.
Yeah.
And it's like their whole family and they just roll up to this house and they get out of the car and Hector and Chino see them and are like, what are they doing here? And like run over and they're like, hey, you know, like we're having this baptism, but in 30 minutes you can meet us at the hotel because they have these parties at this hotel. In like 30 minutes, meet us there. And so they're like, okay. And they've kind of, I think, already decided that they want to try and join their gang. Like they're going to actually be a part of the real gang. It's you guys, it's so insane. Okay. So they go to the hotel party and, you know, they're sitting around the table, like playing drinking games, whatever. She's like, you ask. And so then they're like, we want to join your crew. So then the guys are sitting around the table and they all kind of start speaking Spanish to each other and they're like laughing and stuff. And she's like, if you're just going to make fun of us, like, you know, then we'll leave. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And he goes, not fuck me. And he says, you got to do it like every other lady here, girl. And then she says, okay, what do we got to do? And he says, it's a dice game. You got to do it with our people. You know what I mean? You understand? Do it. And the brother starts like gyrating and humping the air. And Emily starts laughing. And he says, each of you rolls one time, and whatever number you get, that's how many of my friends you have to take in there. And he points to like another room. And nobody says anything for a second. And then Emily says, okay, but I choose the friends. And then Allie very reluctantly says, all right.
Yeah.
So,
and that, I think at this point, Emily especially is like,
we're doing it.
Excited to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they've been drinking and playing games. And they're all like having a good time. So I feel like they're feeling very chummy with them at this point.
Yes. And there's also something about like Emily. I almost feel like Emily is more doing it to impress Allie.
Yeah. There's
an element of that to it. And Allie is really there because she likes Hector.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you definitely get, and maybe that's where that relationship was supposed to be going and just like didn't do a very good job of executing that. Like, yeah, Emily's trying to prove, oh, I wasn't into you, because it was almost like a rejection, that last scene.
Oh,
really
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
go anywhere, because like to your point, she's like way more into it than she has seemed before.
Oh, about joining the gang.
Yeah. And like get in with this dice game.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah. Almost as like you said. Yeah, like, oh yeah, I wasn't into you. I don't care. I'm totally into like this.
See, I kind of interpreted it actually as like her trying to impress Allie, like, I'm committed to doing this with you, because she thinks that Allie wants it. Because Allie's been the instigator up until this point of like trying to get in with them.
Yeah.
And then they get to the table. He says that. And that's where I feel like maybe she like has a little bit of reluctancy because she's like, I don't know if I actually want to do that.
Yeah.
But I interpreted it more as Emily wanting to impress Allie and being like, we're trying to get in with the gang. I'm committed to doing what you want to do. So I'm going to do it. It could be either though.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense though. Yeah.
Okay. So once in the room, they roll the dice. I have the dialogue because I want to stay focused on exactly what is said. So we heard what he said about, it's a lot of like, you got to do it. I mean, language is important when it comes to these kind of things, I think. So this is the exact dialogue.
Okay.
So once in the room, before they roll the dice, Hector says, all right, here we are. You girls are down, right? They nod. Okay. So they roll the dice. Allie rolls first. She gets a 1. Of course. Yeah. We know she's getting a 1 and she's going to sleep with Hector.
Yeah.
And the people that go into the room are her and Emily, Hector, Chino, and this other guy. I don't know if we ever know his name. He's bald. He never has a shirt on. And he has a 16th Street tattoo on the back of his head, which will be important later. Yeah. I don't think they ever say his name. So the 3 of them are in there with the 2 girls. So Allie rolls her 1 and they're all like,
very accurate impression.
And then Emily rolls and she gets a 3. And there's a little like, but it's also like not as bad as it could be.
And they're all like 6.
Yeah, they're all going 6. And there does seem to be a pause of like, is she going to accept this?
Yeah.
There is an air of pausing of like, what's going to happen? And she says, 3's cool. I can handle 3. It's just sex.
Yeah. Like she's convincing herself. I can handle 3. It's okay. It's not 6.
Yeah. Hector says, if it's just sex, who do you want to start with? And she points to Chino. So her and Chino go over to the bed and start like doing their thing. Obviously, Allison chooses Hector. We all knew this was happening. So they're on 2 separate beds in the same hotel room. The other guy temporarily leaves. So the camera's going back and forth between what's going on with Emily and Chino and then what's going on with Allison and Hector. And Allison is sort of watching what's going on with Chino and Emily. And she's getting visibly uncomfortable watching the 2 of them. And he's getting increasingly more aggressive with Emily.
While Hector's being like
sweet,
pretty sensual and like.
Yes, exactly. And I will say, even though Chino is being aggressive with Emily, she is seemingly into it at this point. Yeah. She's not like, she doesn't appear.
She's also like, she's participating.
Yes.
It's not.
But
like,
you were about to say, I do feel like too being a little performative.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So this goes on maybe a couple of minutes, and then as he becomes increasingly more aggressive with Emily, you can see Allison getting uncomfortable. And then she kind of freaks out and she's like, I can't. And she starts to sit up and Hector slams her back down on the bed. And you can tell in that moment, it goes from her being into it to being uncomfortable watching what's going on and likely what's happening with her as well to being terrified.
Yeah.
He slams her back down on the bed. She's terrified. You can tell she thinks, oh no, I fucked up. Yeah. He's going to rape me.
Yeah. She like begging him. Please, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. And he finally relents and gets up. And she's like, starts getting her clothes on kind of frantically, whatever. She's taken off. And she's like, Emily, let's go. And she's trying to leave and Emily doesn't want to. And she's like, no, I'm doing this. Hector's still in there. And she's like, no, I'm doing this. She's like, and I want Hector first. So Chino gets up. And it's hard to tell if he actually leaves the room, but he kind of goes out of the frame. Hector goes over to the bed with Emily. Allie goes out of the room. So then Allie's sitting outside the room, and she starts to hear, like, distressing, like, Emily's screaming, yelling something. So she goes in. This is graphic, too. Like, I should just put a trigger warning up at the beginning. Also, like, I'm saying the F word a lot because that's the dialogue of the movie. Yeah. So, this is graphic and jarring. And before she hears the screaming,
it goes back to the scene of Emily and Hector in the bed, and he's penetrating her, and he kind of like pulls her up against him off the bed a little bit, and then you see him make a motion with his hand for someone else to come in, and the brother goes in.
Yeah.
And they're gonna like tag team her, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when they cut to Allie outside. She hears whatever's going on. She goes into the room and sees her essentially being gangbanged, and she's between them. She's crying, she's screaming. It's really bad. And so she runs over Allie, and the guys get off of her, and the brother screams. I think he says they're crazy or this is crazy in Spanish. And then Hector says, what the fuck is it with you two? What do you fucking want? And then they go out of the room. And so they leave. And that's it of that scene. There's no more interaction. They run out of the room. Emily and Allie are on the bed. She's consoling Emily. And then it just cuts to the next scene. So then she's at school. And this is something I'll admit, I'm not totally sure like what point they were trying to make with this. And maybe you'll have some better insight. There's a scene at school where Allie is in class and she notices that Emily's not in class. So she's like, kind of like, where's Emily? What's going on? Yeah. And then the teacher asks her a question. And I'm not sure exactly what they're talking about in terms of like the subject matter. But he's like, who can make a point about this? And he's like, Allie. And she says, it's an example of profiteering off of illegal activities. And he says, do you care to connect the dots? And she says, governments and individuals both pursue their own self-interests, often carelessly. And it really reminds me of Malcolm in Jurassic Park, the way she's talking.
Malcolm in who's Malcolm in Jurassic Park?
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh.
when she's like, often carelessly.
Yeah. That's really true.
Oh, God. And no one's really willing to take responsibility for anything. And I mean, I guess there's some parallels there.
Yeah.
But it was just like, was that it? I mean, they're just trying to make a parallel to like her situation or what's about to happen.
Yeah, or I feel to me it was like her finally realizing that like I am responsible kind of for this happening. I took her down there. Yeah. You know, I was the one glorifying this whole situation. I was the one who like, you know, thought this was all a game that we could play.
Right.
I roped other people into it without realizing the severity of the situation.
Yeah, and that there's
somebody
real
else
consequences.
Got hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And so then she goes back down to the hotel to confront Hector. And maybe that was kind of like you said. She makes that realization of like, oh, this like
is my fault.
I have a part in this and
I need to go fix it.
I need to go fix it now.
Yeah.
Which she doesn't do a good job of. But so she goes back to the hotel to confront Hector. And again, like they're just there. She walks in and she says, why did you do that to us last night? And he goes, do what, huh? We did exactly what you wanted us to do. You wanted in 16th Street and you didn't fucking make it. And she says, hold it. You think Emily wanted that? And he goes, who? Emily, ¿cuál es Emily? Oh, sí, la chiquita, la putita, huh? The one who got drunk and played us like a fucking punk. And she goes, no, she wasn't playing, all right? That wasn't a game to her. And he says, bullshit. Everything's a fucking game to you two. And she says, you don't know me, okay? You don't know shit about me. And he goes, oh, that's where you're wrong, girl. I know everything about you. I see right through you. Everything is a fucking game. You ain't real. She says, that's not true. He says, oh, it's true. You ain't real. I'm real, right? There ain't nothing real about you. Your talk ain't real. Your walk ain't real. The way you dress ain't real. You don't even get it from the real fucking thing. You get it from TV. He says that, and then a girl comes out of the room and is like, Hector. And she has just like a sheet wrapped around her naked body. And she kind of, Allie kind of like, just makes like a, oh, interesting kind of like head movement or face expression. And he goes, you thought I was in love with you or something? Is that what this is, huh? I don't know where you belong, girl, but it ain't here. That's the end of that scene.
Yeah.
She leaves. That's the end of their interactions.
Yeah.
So then the next scene is Emily looking at lineup photos. She's with her mom in what appears to be a police office, and she points Hector out, and she's like, that's him. Then Allison gets confronted by Toby about Emily's assault, and I can't really remember what happens with that, but he says, you're out the PLC.
Well, yeah.
Kicks her out of the gang.
He finds out that they went back there. I think that's what he's upset about. Like, you went back to that
Well,
place.
that was the
like, but I think he did it again. He was like, you
did
went
he?
back to see these guys again? Like, what are you?
Yeah. I think that this scene with Toby is when Allison gets the first hint of the fact that Emily's telling people she's been assaulted.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. So Toby confronts her about them going back down there, and I think he says something like about her, and she's like, wait, what? Yeah. So then the next scene is Allison being questioned by the cops. She's sitting around a table, the detectives, cops, whatever, asking her questions. She's there with her attorney and her parents, and the attorney or her parents are saying something, and the cops interrupt and say, listen, her friend was raped. Allison was in the next room. We just want cooperation in identifying the man who violated her friend. And then Allison says, I can't believe you think Emily was raped and I just hung out and watched. And the attorney says, Allison can't be of any help. She didn't see anything. She can't identify anyone. And then she says, this is insane. I don't know anything about a rape.
So weird.
Yeah. The next scene is of Hector being arrested. He's being put into a police car and taken away. And the brother, either the brother or the bald guy, says, those little bitches are going to testify against Hector and get him put away. Hit him up and shut him up. So then finding out that Emily's still pressing charges. So then it's like the next scene, Allison's walking into her house and her parents are like, everything's fine. You don't have to testify. And you can see the relief kind of wash over her. Like she thinks Emily's dropped the charges.
Right.
And then finally her parents say something like, Emily got isolated in another room. They know you didn't see anything. You're not going to have to testify. And then she starts to break down and she kind of starts to say something. And she says, but they didn't. We were the ones. And then she just breaks down crying and her parents are holding her and it goes to the next scene. The next scene is the PLC getting all hyped up to defend Emily's honor against 16th Street. And this is where good old Joseph Gordon-Levitt is really on one.
Oh, yeah.
This scene haunts me still to this day, the three of them, because this is one that Channing Tatum is in too.
Yeah.
And he's like, it might
It's
be like
his
the only
in the movie. Yeah.
only scene that he's in. It's real. This is crazy, guys. And then the next scene is Allie watching the footage because Eric was filming that. And so then she goes and she sees the footage and she's like, oh my God, they're going to go down there and try to like, you know, roll up on the gang.
Yeah.
And like, and so she's like, I have to get to Emily. And this is the part of it that's kind of weird is that there's almost like this idea that Emily can like call off the thing. Is that what, because it's like, it's already set in motion. She calls Toby to tell him to stop. He's not having it. He's pissed at her. He knows something went on with Hector. She's like, okay, that didn't work. She's like, all right, I guess I just have to go confront Emily, and like walks into Emily's house and she's sitting there with her parents and the mom's like, oh, Allison, hey. And she's like, you know, you're always welcome in this house, but like we're having a little, basically kind of trying to be like, get out of here. Like we're having a family moment. And she's like, you didn't tell them about the dice. And Emily's like, Allie, don't. And she's like, Emily, Toby, Nick, and Sam are going downtown right now for revenge to defend your honor. Which, okay, but like, that's the part that I find confusing because like nothing you're doing right now is stopping that from happening.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Also, why wouldn't you be like, they have guns?
Right.
They're going downtown with guns to this
Say
real
that
gang.
to the parents.
Yeah, I was
like if you're trying to stop that,
right?
Be like,
What's
you
Emily
need to
gonna
call the
do?
cops.
Is
Yeah,
Emily gonna call them and be like, guys, I wasn't raped, and they're just
Exact-
gonna be like, okay, well,
yeah,
forget
no, I
it
know.
then.
That's what I know. Okay, so she says to the parents, I asked if we could be in those guys from East LA's crew. The way to do that is by rolling dice, and then you sleep with whatever number comes up. It's their initiation thing. We asked for it, if we could join. And then we went into the other room with them on our own. It was our decision. And then Emily says, I hate you. I could never be your friend again.
Run.
And she runs. Yes. She runs and locks herself in her bathroom.
And this scene is so bizarre.
Yeah. And I didn't write the dialogue down. It is a weird scene. Nothing more is said about the incident or the guys going down there.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing else is said about what
there is that last scene with the guys down
yes,
there.
but I mean between the two of them. Yeah. So Allie chases Emily up the stairs. Emily's in the bathroom. Allie's outside the door. They're talking. Emily's kind of like trying to maybe hurt herself. She's like doing the things, like the stereotypical things, like, oh, I'm gonna cut my wrist, and she's like
pills. And while Anne Hathaway's doing this like really tricky reverse psychology on her, where it's just like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, oh, or well, if you try to use a razor, it's really gonna hurt, and you're not doing it right, and you're just gonna end up with scars, and like, and it's just kind of this weird conversation, and then they sort of like end up laughing, and
then all's forgiven. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's kind of just like, and there's no real resolution. There's literally, once she gets upstairs and is outside the bathroom door and Emily's in the bathroom, there's not another word spoken about what happened.
Yeah.
There's not another word spoken about the guys in their PLC gang, like, going to possibly like shoot people up or get shot up.
Right.
And like, that's the last scene with them.
Yeah.
The two of them. And then the very last scene is the guys go downtown. They're kind of like driving around and they don't see anyone. And they're like, okay, we didn't really find them. And at that point, the brother and the bald guy, whose name I don't think we ever know, have come to the Palisades to kind of try and find where the girls are. And they end up like getting pulled over, and the cops are like, "Get out of our neighborhood! What are you doing
come back to
here?"
this white neighborhood ever again.
And so they get in their car and they're like, "Forget it! Like, we're not gonna find them. We need to get out of here." And as they're leaving the Palisades, and the white rich gang boys are re-entering the Palisades, they pass each other.
They slowly pass.
Yeah, and there's like a slow-mo moment, and Toby's like looking out the window, and the bald guy, they're looking out the window at each other, and then they both look back forward, and then Toby just happens to look back one more time, and he sees the 16th Street tattoo on the back of the guy's head. The screen goes black, and you hear a gunshot, and that's the end of the movie.
Worst ending of all time. When it went black, I thought my TV messed up.
It's gonna come back on.
And I was like, oh shoot, let me rewind. Something happened. Nope, that's how the movie ended.
That's how it ends, yeah.
Yeah, the whole like second half of the movie with the rape is just so bizarre. Because I feel like, again, the message got lost. Where it was like, okay, if the lesson is you're teenagers, you don't understand what rape is, this is obviously still rape, even though you guys were into it at first, quote unquote. Like, that was never mentioned.
Addressed.
That lesson is not learned.
No.
It almost feels like the movie is saying,
yes,
yeah,
no, I
it
think
wasn't rape because they were into it at first.
I kind of think it was, Hollis. I kind of think it was. And I remember watching it at that time period, like around the time it came out. And, you know, again, this is pre-Me Too, pre the larger conversation of consent. But I remember thinking that and being like, but they still rape. That's still rape, right?
Yeah,
like, I remember thinking that, like, wait, what? Like, I realize, yes. And like, yeah, okay. Did they enter into the situation in the beginning willingly? Sure. But like 100% Emily's understanding of it was, I'm going to have sex with you, and then you, and then you.
Yeah, not
there
at
was,
the same time.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, the conversation that you can revoke consent. I mean,
at any time. That was not part of the picture.
No,
then,
I mean, we hadn't even gotten to consent in the first place yet, let
alone the nuances of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I know. I really do kind of think that was the message they were putting out there, which is wild.
Because I keep coming back to, like, a woman directed this.
I know. And there's so many layers here. And we talked about, too, earlier, like, these girls are, like, what, 16?
Yeah.
And again, you don't know, but like, I think my guess is these gang guys are at least in their 20s, if not like 30.
Yeah. I know. And also, like, I feel like this is kind of a minor detail, but like that isn't their real initiation. They made that game up.
Right.
At the moment, we're like, they
Exactly.
think
That's what they
that,
were
like,
doing when they were talking to each other.
But like they assumed that like, oh, this is really how you get in. We wanted to get in, so we did their initiation. Like, no, they fooled you.
It's a manipulation. Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I know. And I got through the whole movie too that like, well, first of all, age isn't brought up whatsoever.
No, it's not.
And especially
because we didn't think about that then either.
No, because that wasn't like.
It's
not
just
even,
like never
like,
been
totally
kissed.
Acceptable. Yeah,
it's totally acceptable.
Like, men are allowed to sleep with women at any age. Yeah. It's fine. I know. Well, and I feel like some of the girls, like especially Emily, is supposed to be kind of seen as like young and naive. Yeah, but Anne Hathaway's character is very much portrayed as like a mature, of sound mind, wise girl. Yes. Like she's not a young teenager. She is making these decisions. Like it's like never even brought up the fact that like she's a teenager who can't see these situations clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, and then I feel like too there is. And this is like so layered, and I, can only speak to like what we can speak to, but there are racial dynamics at play here too. And there's a lot of stereotyping going on, but there's also this, I think when we think about accusing people of color of crimes, the conversation around that has changed as well. Unfortunately, a lot of us, especially white people, when you think of a rape, that might be something you might think of it that way because unfortunately we've seen this in movies and TV, and the media portrays things this way. They're always giving more attention when it's white girls that are being abducted or assaulted, and you have 2 brown men and 2 white girls, and I think it's just like a very stereotypical maybe idea of what sexual assault is too. That's one of the criticisms of the movie, and it's like that the only sexual assaults that are happening out there are not brown men assaulting white women.
Right. No, for sure.
And I think statistically probably I would imagine it's probably more white men. And I feel like we've seen things like the Innocence Project, all of these black men being exonerated for rapes and assaults that they didn't commit because people just assumed it was them because they were black. Yeah. And so I think that's a little bit problematic.
Yeah. And there's no lesson learned from it. It's just perpetuating a stereotype. Almost.
Yes.
So like it would be different if like they were trying to get a message across and they resolved it through this story of rape, but they didn't.
Yeah. I don't think the movie was really evolved in that way, but I do think just in terms of picking people out of lineups and how we go about pursuing accusations and things like that against minorities, there's a conversation around that as well.
For sure.
Yeah,
it brought in this whole concept of rape and consent, and without fully realizing that story in the appropriate way.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And nothing resolved.
No.
No resolution
for
any
whatsoever.
of them, really.
Okay, so just some points that the internet makes about the film. And this is just some of the criticisms, which are a lot. I say some of the criticisms as if there's all these accolades. This is portrayed as a shallow, performative, and dangerous fascination rather than a respectful admiration. Havoc as a cautionary tale uses this behavior to show the consequences of rich teenagers crossing into East LA and acting without understanding the real dangers, treating that lifestyle as a thrill-seeking game. Some viewers have described the film as problematic, as a problematic film that highlights how bored upper-class kids engage in cultural exploitation, emphasizing that the character's behavior is meant to be cringeworthy and morally questionable. It's definitely cringeworthy. Oh, dear. The film deliberately contrasts the performative gangsta, quote-unquote, aesthetic of rich teens with the harsh reality of actual gang members in East LA. This contrast is meant to show the characters' cultural exploitation and ignorance of the systemic issues that they are imitating. And that was mostly about how the PLC is portrayed and sort of the cultural appropriation that is intentional, but also still has some, obviously, problems.
Yeah.
In terms of how the gang 16th Street is portrayed, it attempts to use 16th Street gang, which is a historic set in Los Angeles, as a foil to the wealthy poser teenagers from the Pacific Palisades. It relies on several reductive tropes. The first one being the cinematic cholo archetype. Academic analysis characterizes the Latino gang members in Havoc as modern versions of the Mexican bandito stereotype. The characters are depicted with few redeeming qualities, often framed as inarticulate, violent, and pathologically dangerous. Instead of being developed as humanized characters, they serve primarily as a dangerous playground or arena for the white protagonists to experience a quote-unquote raw reality. And scenes often feature overcrowded living spaces and fences and, and cinder blocks and gangbangs used as casual entertainment, which some critics describe as a cookie-cutter massacre of complicated social interactions. The film structure suggests that minority culture is inherently dangerous for the white children of promise who interact with it, rather than exploring the actual systemic or historical origins of the 16th Street gang. So yeah. And like I said, it uses the name of a real game, but obviously takes significant creative liberties there.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it was a watch. The best part of the movie was that it was only 90 minutes.
Yes, it's
So
not
it
a long
wasn't like-
one.
yeah.
It's not. And that's probably part of some like, what they always just find them. Well, they have to because they got to keep it moving along. But yeah, one of the films that it suggests has a better portrayal of LA street gangs was Boys in the Hood,
Oh, yeah.
which I have not seen. So
Oh, it's a good one. It's a classic.
yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never
Yeah.
seen it. So yeah.
Nice.
That's
Well, it's definitely a good, interesting watch. Lot to talk, lot to unpack.
Yes, lots
sure.
to unpack. If you haven't seen it, give it a go.
Sure, or miss it. You know, either one. No, you will definitely get.
I
some
mean,
good
you
laughs.
almost have to watch it just for Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
The old guilty pleasure.
Good job. Great.
Thanks.
Great breakdown.
All right.
Should we grape and gripe?
Yeah, let's grape and gripe.
Okay, my gripe goes out to the cost of grapes.
My gripe
I
goes to
spent
grapes.
$8 on grapes this morning.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess
insane.
that's partially on me because I didn't weigh them. So I didn't realize I was buying 2.5 pounds of grapes, but still,
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, dang.
Yeah, no, they're really expensive, especially organic ones. Really expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I would not have spent $8 on grapes. I would have been like, oh, get the strawberries.
Right. They're expensive too,
I know.
honestly.
Everything's expensive.
Everything's expensive. Okay. Oh. I really have a problem when people are talking about politics online. And I mean, I just have a problem with that in general. No, I'm kidding. And they want to say like on either side of the aisle or across the aisle, but they spell it ISLE.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, it's not an island. An aisle is a small island. It's so prolific. It's an
Really?
epidemic.
Dang, that's a pretty bad one.
It's a bad one.
Yeah. Do you think it's so? Wait, you're talking about like on the
When they're typing things out
yeah.
and they want to say something and they're talking about being on either, on both sides of the aisle or either
And
side of the aisle and they spell it.
The text in the bottom is ISLE.
Yes.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's also probably automatically done, but like somebody
No,
should be
I'm
reading
talking
those.
about people commenting and like
Oh,
they're typing
commenters.
it.
Oh, I see. I thought you were talking
No,
about
no.
Oh,
no,
yeah, that's
people
bad.
are typing it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
No, guys, it's not that
Get
aisle.
your aisles right.
Get your aisles right.
You don't even know what the ISLE is.
No,
Where's
clearly
that one
not.
come from? Like, it's like that's weird that even comes to mind because that's used so
Infrequently.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's bizarre.
Do they think that's the spelling for like the aisle that goes between something?
Yeah, and if you didn't know how to spell aisle, I certainly wouldn't come up with ISLE.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Strange all around.
Stop.
My grape goes out to my new Garmin watch.
Oh, nice.
My brother buys me all my electronics that I would never spend money on myself. Like he bought me my first iPad, my first AirPods and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I want a step counter. And he got me a Garmin. This thing is pretty sweet though.
Nice.
I like it best because it'll track your sleep.
Yeah, mine
wear it
does
at
that
night.
too, but I don't wear it at night.
Yeah, you do have to wear it at night.
Yeah.
Which is annoying, but yeah, I like it though. It's nice to have.
And it's nice too because like counting every single step, you're like, oh, I'm getting more than I thought.
Oh yeah.
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 I know.
It is nice confirmation too, because like this one has a body battery. So like sometimes it'll like take all of the data it gets to kind of give you like it's almost like you're a video game person. Like how much battery do you have left? In your person?
Oh, that's funny.
But it's kind of, and it'll tell you why. But it is kind of nice confirmation. Sometimes during the day when I'm like, I'm tired, but like I shouldn't be. My watch is like, actually, yeah, you should be tired because you only got 4 minutes of REM sleep and you haven't eaten or walked in the last 4 hours. Like, yeah, bitch, you're tired. It's okay.
Nice. Good old Garmin.
Yeah, good old Garmy.
Nice. All right. My grape is just going to the fact that I recently inherited all of my dad's records.
Oh,
So
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's been fun to go through all those and just see what there is and listen to things. My dad had very good taste in music, so he had a nice collection of.
How many do you think, roughly?
Probably about 100.
It's a good collection.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, that's been fun. Yeah.
I want a record player.
Yes, it's definitely something I enjoy having, and like the kids get into it. They like to like go pick out a record, and it's nice to be able to have that type of quote unquote technology like as something that's normal to them. So they'll like grow up knowing what that is and like as opposed to
other ways to do things than digitally. Yeah.
Right, as opposed to introducing it at some point to a kid who's never seen a record player and be like, what?
I know. I miss just like listening to a full album.
Right.
I never do that anymore.
No, we never do
and
that
I always
anymore.
just like skip. And I don't actually listen to that much music because I'm just like skipping songs and listening to like 30 seconds.
And you forget that
nice
like
being like, I'm going to set this record on, let it play. I'm just going to listen to the whole thing.
And I think we forget that like record placement of songs is an art.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the songs are in the order that they are.
They used to be.
Yeah, I mean maybe not anymore, but on an LP it is for sure. So yeah.
All right, we did it.
All right, we did it. Thanks for
Doubleheader
listening.
done.
Doubleheader done. Bye.